Welcome to this presentation, how landlords can stay up to date on changes in landlord laws and regulations, and specifically how landlords, responsible landlords, can stay updated on changes on regulations without the worry of missing an important update or getting things wrong. So perhaps you're watching this because you're concerned about the upcoming changes in legislation. Perhaps you understand that regulations changed, but you're not quite sure what has changed. And perhaps you need a reliable source of information and advice to make informed decisions. So I think I can help you with all of that. We're going to today look at what has changed, what is changing, and how to keep updated. And I'll guide you through all of these steps. And at the end, I can explain how you can achieve peace of mind on all of the changes that are upcoming. So this is a long list of stuff that as landlords we've had to be aware of over the years, because all of these pieces of legislation have had an impact on how we do business as landlords. So looking at the list, the Housing Act of 2004 talked about deposits and introduced HHSRS, which is Housing Health and Safety Rating System. In 2005, the regulatory reform or fire safety order came into place. The Deregulation Act of 2015 put in place requirements for us to issue certain documents before we can issue a Section 21 to our tenants. The smoke and carbon monoxide regulations of 2015 required us to put in smoke alarms into our houses. The Tenant Fee Act of 2019 banned certain fees, so we couldn't charge tenants those fees. The Coronavirus Act of 2020, the Electrical Safety Standards and Private Rented Sector regulations of 2020 made it mandatory for EICRs to be produced. They weren't mandatory up until that point. The Equalities Act of 2010 prohibited discrimination, and the Energy Act of 2011 required minimum EPC standards. And the Finance Act 2015, 16 and 19 has had an impact on how we deal with the finances of our property business. So that's a list of stuff that has changed, probably more in there, but that gives you a flavour about the importance of keeping up to date with the regulations. So what will change? Perhaps you've heard about the Renters Reform Bill, and you need to know a bit more about what is proposed and what will come in. So at the moment, nothing has changed. But the bill has been through Parliament. I think it's had its second hearing, and the things will change for us as landlords. We have to do things differently in the future. This has been described as the biggest shake-up for decades of the property private rented sector. So firstly, the abolishment of Section 21 and the strengthening of Section 8. Section 21 has been the main way that landlords have gained access to their property, and that will be abolished. But to counter that, Section 8, which is the other route to get possession of your property, will be strengthened. So another change is there will be no fixed term tenancies. They'll all start as periodic tenancies. That means your tenant can give notice as soon as they move in. They don't have to wait 6 months, 12 months to do that. Longer notice periods for rent increases, that will be coming in. Tenants have more rights to keep pets in their properties. You may have heard that in the press. There will be a new ombudsman with particular powers that cover all landlords, and I think the idea of that is it reduces the stress on some of the court processes that struggle to keep up with what's being asked of them. There'll be a property portal for private landlords, so we will have to submit documents, for example, to demonstrate that we're compliant in certain areas. And the application of the decent home standards to the private rented sector. This is already in place in some areas, and it's now going to be applied to the private rented sector. There will be an overhaul of the rent repayment orders, and alongside of all this, some court reform to make it easier to deal with courts. Other things that will change: energy performance certificates. That will change in the future. It might be that the band or the minimum requirement goes up at some point. There'll be changes to capital gains tax, making tax digital. that has been implemented for certain industries or certain sectors, and that will be coming to us as smaller landlords. We will have to produce digital information to HMRC at some point. And what else will change? Who knows? We've got to keep up to date, keep watching the news and get your information from reliable sources. So how do you keep up to date with things that may have changed or things that you know are coming? The government website is a great place to start. All the information is published on there. You can do your own research, so Google is a great resource, but do be wary of what you read. It might not all be completely accurate. Join a landlord association. Their job is to support landlords in navigating some of these issues, so that's a great recommendation to join a local landlord association. Do your own training from a reputable training company to make sure that you know what you need to know and your confidence grows. And use a reputable letting agent. We are required to update landlords and incorporate changes in the industry into our processes. So every time something changes, we need to make sure our processes are up to date, and that includes EICRs, carbon monoxide alarms, tenant fee ban, right to rent. All these changes that have come in since we've been operating as agents have been incorporated into our processes, so you've got confidence that all these jobs are being done correctly. So, summary, what has changed? So we talked about some of the things that have changed in the past. We looked at what is coming up and what will change, and how to keep yourself updated. If you've enjoyed today's presentation, I would like my team's help to do some of this for you, then please book a phone call with me or a member of my team. Click the link below to book a phone call into our diaries. We have space to take a few phone call appointments, but when the spaces fill up, they are gone. On that call, we will listen to your issues and we'll understand what it is you want to achieve, and we'll give you our best advice. If at the end of that phone call, it feels like a good fit, then we can see if we can work with you. So click on the link below and book a phone call into our diaries. Until next time, thank you for listening. Please do subscribe to this channel, like and comment the videos, and click on the links below to get access to our other free content. And until next time, here is to your success of your property business.